Chelsea go into the knockout rounds of the Club World Cup where they will face Benfica tomorrow, 9 p.m. Bank of America, Charlotte, America. Welcome back to From the Shed End. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new as always, please make sure you subscribe to the channel, you like this video, and you hit that Linktree link in the description. That will take you to all our social accounts and everything associated with From the Shed End. So make sure you do that before you leave this video. Now, we go into this game tomorrow night. I'm going to say it's favourites. I think Chelsea are favourites to go into the latter stages of the knockout rounds in the Club World Cup this year, for the simple fact that we are playing Benfica. And this is no disrespect to Benfica, but they haven't beaten us in the last 3 games. We played them twice in 2011-2012 season in the Champions League. We then went on the following year to face them in the final in Amsterdam in the Europa League, where we won 2-1. I'm not too concerned by Benfica. Now, we will get into a lot of... we're going to get into predicted lineup. We're going to get into some key information around player availability and also our recent form on both sides of the teams in terms of Benfica and Chelsea. But I want to talk about Chelsea first of all, the group stages. Obviously, we played LAFC, first game, opening game of the season, opening game of the tournament, 2-0. 2-0. I thought this is going to be easy. It's going to be a walk in the park, this Club World Cup. We don't need to worry about anything. We can beat anyone that we come up against. Until we played Flamengo, where we took the lead with a Pedro Neto lucky goal. But then the lapses in concentration from Robert Sanchez meant that we lose the game 3-1. But then we did recover and redeem ourselves with a 3-0 win against Esperance Tunis a couple of days ago, where Liam Delap got his first goal. Tariq George was on the score sheet as well. And 2 assists for Enzo Fernández meant that we solidified our chances of progressing through to the next round of the Club World Cup. Now, it is going to be difficult for us because, of course, we don't have Nicholas Jackson for this game tomorrow. Reece James did miss the game against Esperance Tunis due to illness, but we're going to get onto all of that. But let's talk about Benfica, because Benfica have come into this one very similar to us. You know, they had a really 2-2 difficult game. You think back to Boca Juniors, that first game, I think there was a couple of red cards in the game, but they did struggle against Boca Juniors, who actually played a very good game, and they are a very good side, so I did expect that. But then they go on to play Auckland, where they smashed them 6-0. And it was a very convincing and resounding win for them. Now, the biggest, I think, surprise maybe from the Club World Cup and maybe from Benfica was their brilliant performance against Bayern Munich, where their goalkeeper, Tubrin, was brilliant. He was absolutely outstanding for them. I think there's not many games I've watched, especially in the Club World Cup, where you're looking at the players and you're almost in a bit of a disbelief, because Trubin he was outstanding for them. He was absolutely outstanding for them. This is one of those moments where, had they had a Robert Sanchez in goal, or I could go further back, had they got Peter Enkelman in goal, they don't get through that round. Because Bayern Munich had chances in that game time and time again. You know, Harry Kane had a couple of chances. Leroy Sané had a good chance in that second half. And if it wasn't for Trubin in goal for Benfica, I actually think we'd be playing another team in this round. But Trubin was brilliant. Not just him, because I do feel with Ángel Di María and Nicolas Otamendi, Renato Sanchez in that team, Antonio Silva, Carreras as well. They have Benfica are a team that can cause you problems if you don't turn up. They will cause you problems. Now, I think they're probably in that level of, you know, with Porto and Sporting CP in terms of the top 3 Portuguese teams in their league. But I do feel that they are, you know, we can beat them. As I keep saying, this is a team that we've beaten on a number of occasions. But I do have to say this, they are one of the top goal scorers of this tournament as well. They are one of the top goal scorers of this tournament. Yeah, they're the leaders, actually. They've scored 9 goals. They've got a goal difference of 7+ at the moment. They've got 6 assists. Nicolas Otamendi has won 29 duels already in here. He's been the anchor at the back for them. He's been the anchor. He's been the defensive solid wall at the back. But I want to throw this curveball in. Benfica have not beaten an English team since 2014. Enzo Maresca, Chelsea, do not make that a new rule that we lose to them tomorrow and it becomes 2025. we have very good, like I said, we've got a really good record against Benfica. We're doing pretty well in this tournament as well. We're third in terms of goals scored across the whole tournament so far. We have got a goal difference of 3+, and also Enzo Fernández is leading on assists for the team as well. But I want to say one thing. I think if Cole Palmer starts, and we're going to get onto my predicted lineup very soon, but if Cole Palmer starts, I think these are the sort of games where we assess him and see if he's still capable of showing that level of performance that he did under Pochettino and the early stages under Enzo Maresca. Can he still do that? Because I think from a Chelsea perspective, we're finding a lot of excuses for Cole Palmer. And is it fatigue? Is it tiredness? Is it manager's tactics? Is it just frustration from the player? But when you're deemed as one of the top players, the ones that make things happen, makes things click for the team, you can't keep using those excuses. There has to be something that comes from the player, and he has to have a moment of brilliance, a moment of magic, and change things. We can use all the excuses, but we can talk about the heat in terms of the 39-degree heat and all the rest of it. But there's players like Enzo Fernández that are stepping up. Liam Delap has stepped up. DAZN has stepped up. We can't really, because it's Cole Palmer, we can't suddenly start throwing in loads of excuses. If Cole Palmer starts, we need to see a lot more from Cole Palmer. Now, Chelsea come into this one winning 10 of their last 12 matches across all competitions and having 5 clean sheets out of those 12 matches. So, like I said before, we've won our last 3 games against Benfica. And they were very crucial games. As I said, the Europa League final and those Champions League games as well were very crucial. But Benfica have only lost once in their last 16 matches across all competitions. And they've scored in each of their last 18. So they are going to be a threat. And we know what our weakness is at Chelsea. It's our defence and our goalkeeper and the distribution of the goalkeeper. Robert Sanchez, again, if he's in goal, has to distribute the ball very well. Because going into that game, if we beat Benfica tomorrow night, we have an opportunity to play Palmeiras or Botafogo in the next round in the quarterfinals of this tournament. I'm not going to say that game's going to be easy because, as I said on the podcast and we've said previously on this channel, the South American teams turn up to this tournament. This is their top pinnacle of their season. And some of them, this is mid-season for them. So some of these teams are going to be way ahead than we are. We just have to be mindful. We're playing a team that has some very good players in it. Pavlidis, I think, will be a massive threat for Benfica. I think he's going to be the one that will cause us problems defensively. I think Ángel Di María from set pieces, we've known his time from PSG and his time at Manchester United, how deadly he can be from set pieces. I think we have to be prepared for that. And you hope that Maresca's been working on that in terms of the training that we've had over the last couple of days. But I do generally think, if you ask me right now, and let's take my Chelsea hat off for a second. If you ask me right now, do I think Chelsea will progress through beyond Benfica? And I was a betting man and the odds were good. I'd back Chelsea. I'd back us to win because I think we've proven, let's take the Flamengo game away for a second because that was just a 6 minutes of lapse in concentration and the defense wasn't good. The goalkeeping was horrific in that game. But if you take the LAFC, you take the Esperance Tunis game, you take the back end of last season and how well we looked going forward, attacking wise and defensively as well, especially in that Nottingham Forest game, how good we looked going forward and in defence. I think Maresca has to rejuvenate some of that for this game. He has to rejuvenate some of that because I personally think there will be maybe some shocks in our lineup tomorrow night. I'm gonna go for my predicted lineup because I think one thing we have to do, we have to go strong. We said it on the podcast last week. We have to go strong with this team. We have to make sure that whatever we put out now, the lineup, it has to be the win. I said to my son the other night, knockout football does not always mean the best team will go through. It's who wants it more on that occasion. You could be the worst team. You could be the underdog. You could be the one that doesn't deserve to go through. But if you play well for 90 minutes or 120 minutes, whatever, and you go through, you deserve to go through. Just because Chelsea are the favourites, just because Chelsea have got the bigger squad or we've spent more money on the squad and we might have, in some aspects, better quality players in the team, it doesn't necessarily mean we're going to walk the game and we're going to go through. So we still have to put out a very strong squad. And I've probably said it on every single Club World Cup video. Guard against complacency. That is key for this game. Because Benfica not going to be, it's not going to be easy. They're going to make things hard. The one key thing and the one worry for me is that they had Trubin in goal. They had Trubin in goal. And if he turns up the way he did against Bayern Munich, and we're quite, Liam Delap, he's been a breath of fresh air to watch in the Esperance Tunis game, but if he doesn't get the service or we can't unlock their defence, I think we struggle to score goals. Let me give you my predicted lineup while we're here. I am going to go with Robert Sanchez. Now, I'm not happy that I'm going with Robert Sanchez. I'm trying to think of this in a logical way that maybe Enzo Maresca will pick the squad. So I'd love to give you my version. I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to give you the version I think Maresca will go with. And I think he'll go with Robert Sanchez. Of course, we got to see Felipe Jurgensen in goal for the last game against Tunis, but I think that was more so just to give Robert Sanchez the rest. Now, Reece James is a bit of a tricky one because does he start this game? He didn't start against Tunis. We know that he was ill in the build-up to the game. But I think if he's fully fit, if he's ready to go, if he's raring to go, I think he has to come back into that right-back role. None of this midfield bullshit. We don't want to see right-backs in midfield is an experiment that has been tried, not just with Chelsea, but with others. It might work for Pep. It might work for others, but it don't work for us. So let's put our right back at right back where he deserves to be. Now, the two that I'm going for, I'm going to keep Tosin Adebayo in this team because I think he is the calmest, most controlled centre-back alongside Trevor Chalobah still that we have at the club. But I think he brings leadership and experience. And at 27 years of age, I think he's actually the oldest outfield player that we will have in this team. So I'm going to go with Tosin as the centre-back. I'm going to go with Levi Colwill as the second centre-back in this team. It's tricky. We can't have Badiashile there. We got to see Badiashile a couple of times. He grew into the game against Esperance, but I think there was a couple of moments where my heart was in my stomach because I just wasn't sure what he was going to do with the ball. And if Robert Sanchez is in goal, I need some calmness. I need some common sense in front of Robert Sanchez, and I think that's going to be Levi Colwill and Tosin. Now, Marc Cucurella was rested. We saw Malo Gusto play on that left side for the majority of the game against Esperance Tunis. I think Cucurella will come back into this game following his long, lengthy, well-deserved rest earlier on in the week. The two midfield has to be the two that we know can anchor, control, break up play, make things happen in that midfield. That's going to be Moises Caicedo and Enzo Fernández. One thing I will say, and I say this because I was driving home the other day and I had this really random thought that maybe I feel like Moises Caicedo, I can't believe I'm going to say this because I think it might happen in this game now, but I feel like Moises Caicedo has turned the corner. When he first joined, he was picking up very silly yellow cards. And I was driving home the other day and I felt like this might be an opportunity. Maybe in Moises Caicedo's head that he might get away with a couple of cheeky fouls. But I wasn't concerned about him. I'm concerned about Enzo Fernández. Because this is the Enzo Fernández derby. This is where he wants to win this game. He wants to prove to Benfica. He will get probably a very strange, hostile reception, especially when you think about how he left Benfica. He's kissing the badge. He was saying, I'm staying. If you remember, he's pointing to the ground. And then days later, he was at Chelsea. So I think he will get a very mixed reaction when he plays. And I just hope he keeps his head, keeps his cool. He doesn't get sent off. Because we got to see with Nicholas Jackson out the team against Flamengo how easy and difficult, especially in those conditions when you're playing with 10 men, the extra running that you've got to do, the extra pressure that is on you, the heat as well, it's going to be difficult to play against 11 v 10. So we need 11 players on the pitch. Enzo Fernández has to make sure he stays cool, calm and collective at all times in this game. So I've gone for Caicedo and Enzo in the midfield. This is where it gets tricky for me because I want to throw Cole Palmer back in the 10, but if I throw Cole Palmer in the 10, I have to see more. I have to see more. I think it will be Cole Palmer. My alternative option would be to have Andre Santos, or maybe even a Sugo, but Andre Santos with Caicedo and Enzo in the 10. I don't think that's going to happen, so I'm going to stick with what I think will happen. Caicedo, Enzo in the double, in the midfield. Cole Palmer will be in that 10 for Enzo Maresca because he's one of his favourite players. I think he'll play him. I think he will go with Nani Madueke, and I think he'll go with Pedro Neto, and I think he has to, of course, go with Liam Delap up front. I'd love him to start Tariq George. I said last week, I'm going to say it again, I think Tariq George gives you something else on that left side. I think he's more capable of taking on a defender. I think he's not scared to cut in as well, which is, I'm not against, but he cuts in and he actually makes the cutting in worthwhile. He'll actually cut in and take a shot. You know, we got to see the luck that came again his way when he took a shot from quite far out. He gets the goal. The goalkeeper should do better for Tunis, but it's a goal. And, this is what I'm trying to say. Sometimes you just got to take the chance, take your luck, and hopefully you get the goal. I can't see Nani Madueke doing that. I don't see him doing that on the left. I don't really see him doing it on the right. I think he's quite a frustrating player to watch because when he's got the ball, sometimes the ball's there to take the player on, take a defender on, and he won't do it. He'll either cut back to Enzo or cut back to Caicedo, or he'll try and whip the ball in, or he'll try and shoot from just ridiculous. He's still doing what we've seen last season. And I think with Nani Madueke, I think that, for me personally, because our fullbacks are not going to bomb forward. We know that. So Madueke has to make sure, if he's got an opportunity to cross the ball, cross the ball. If he's got an opportunity to take the player on, take the player on. Take him on. He has to. If it's not working, I feel half-time, at least by half-time, go and get Tariq George warmed up. In fact, he doesn't need to warm up. He's in 40-degree heat. He doesn't need to warm up. Just bring him on. Bring him on and give him an opportunity. Give him the 45, because I think I said on the podcast, once we're in the knockout stages, I want to win the Club World Cup. You're in it now. You're in the depths of it. You're in the part where if you get through this round and you play Botafogo or you play Palmeiras and you beat them, you're talking about a semi-final. And on the 14th of July, you want to be in that final. You want to be in the final. And the way that the knockout tournament is going so far, and the teams that we've got on our side, we've got a really good run to that final. So that's what I'm going to say on that. But I don't want to jinx it. But I do want to say Liam Delap. I think, again, I want to see a lot more from him. I think he looked very good against Tunis. I thought he took his goal very well. Like I said, that goal looked very easy, the way he passes it into the corner of the ball, corner of the goal, but it's very difficult. It's difficult to take the ball the way that he done from Fernandez. It's difficult to make that half turn, take on the defender, move sideways, and almost in the three sequences, get the ball, turn, move from the defender and score at the same time. That is very difficult. And I think we need to see more of that, more of those brilliant runs to break up the defensive line, split the defense a bit more wide open. And also, there was times the link-up play between him, Nani, Cole, it looked good. He looks like a striker. He's still very rough on the edges, but I think that will come with time. I think once he starts playing a lot more. And this is, like I said a couple of weeks ago, this is his opportunity now to make that number 9, make it his. He needs to be the regular striker. And if he wants to be the regular striker, these are the moments he needs to step up and score goals. That's what he's in the team to do. So that's my team. I'm going with Robert Sanchez, Reece James right back, Tosin, Colwell, centre-backs, Marco Correa, Moises Caicedo, Enzo Fernández. The left side, I've gone with Nani Madueke, although I'd love to see Tariq George there. Cole Palmer is the 10. Pedro Neto on the right. Liam Delap up front. My score prediction, I'm going to keep the run going. I think we'll make it 4 wins out of 0 for Chelsea versus Benfica. I think we will win. I'm going to go with 2-1. I think they will score. I think they've got very good attacking threat. I think defensively we're not the best. I think from set pieces we're not the best. But I do think Liam Delap will turn up trumps. I also think Pedro Neto and Enzo Fernández will give us some attacking options going forward. But I tell you something, I would love Cole Palmer to get a goal in this game. And I'm going to speak it into existence because I think he will score. I think it'll be Delap And I think it'd be Cole Palmer that grabbed the goals for us. But let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe. We are on the road to 850 subscribers. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't. I looked yesterday, there's 72% of people watching our videos and you're not subscribed. That's crazy. That's mental. Hit that subscribe button before you leave. Don't forget, we'll be back with the match review after the game on Saturday. So make sure you hit your notification bells for that. And we'll be back soon. Enjoy the weekend when you get to it and hope we get through to the next round of the Club World Cup. Until then, enjoy the weekend.